Hello everyone, I'd like to continue with the narration from my manuscript, The Real Beauty and the Beast. Life is not a fairy tale. We are in chapter 15 titled, Finally We Know Who the Beast Is. Today, Soumya and I woke up to a loud noise coming from Maya's room. She was shouting at the top of her voice. You want me to fail everything. You don't allow me to do anything. Neither do you keep me with you, nor allow me to be independent. I have made my decision. I will go ahead with the competition. Now that I've finally found a mentor to help me, you want to stop me from learning and growing in my career. Moments later, she stormed into my room, her face flushed with anger. Shall we go ahead with the recording? She asked sharply. It felt like more than just a question. It was the beginning of a revelation she had long held inside. Maya, why are you so angry today? I've never seen you like this before, I asked gently. She snapped back. Finally, when I'm trying to build a future for myself by learning something new from an unknown mentor, Sandeep is stopping me. He claims the competition is fake and just a trap to lure women in. He says there's an underground cyber mafia that preys on women and diverts them into paths never meant for them. Sandeep is a real beast in my life. He ruins everything I try to build. Her words stunned me, but I took a deep breath and said, what seems like a beast may not always be one. Maybe he's trying to protect you. You never know. Still shaken, I woke up Soumya. None of us were in the state to work on our blog or the video recording. Instead, we began probing deep into the competition. Soumya tried calling Richard, but he didn't answer. That alone sent a chill down my spine. Richard had always been prompt, always answering Soumya's call on the first ring. Something felt wrong. As fear crept in, I started questioning everything. This initiative, the competition, had been my idea. What if I had unknowingly led us into danger? Our search grew more intense. We dug deeper, scrutinizing Richard, and what we uncovered shocked us all. Richard was a part of a cyber fraud ring. He had a history of luring women into dark paths, disguising it as mentorship, as opportunity. Maya, poor Maya, had been tricked into believing that this mysterious mentor, Mr. G, was a friend, a guide, a savior. But it wasn't him either. It was someone else, hiding behind that name, using Mr. G's identity to draw her in. The mask was off, and just when I thought I had reached the limit of my disbelief, I uncovered something that shattered me completely. My own husband and son had known. Not just known, they were involved. They had helped set this in motion. It wasn't Maya who was being thrown to the wolves. It was me. I wasn't just being left out, I was being erased, gently, cleanly, and with no confrontation. They had hoped I disappeared into this illusion, carried away by false hope. It was the easiest way for them to get rid of me without ruining their image, and I had walked right into it. I sat in silence for hours after truth hit me. The betrayal wasn't just about deceit, it was about indifference. They had stopped seeing me as a person long ago. I was an inconvenience to be handled, not a woman, not a mother, not a wife, just an obstacle. And now I wonder, do you know who Maya and Soumya really are? Do you, dear readers, dare to meet them? I'll continue with the chapter reading and I'll take you through chapter 16 today. Chapter 16 is titled Believe in Yourself More Than Anyone Else. That day I realized one thing. You are your own best friend. You always need to be cautious about your surroundings. You have to be careful not just with strangers and people outside, but also with the inside devils of your own family. We are trying to create a world without borders and make entire world a family. But the irony of life is that no one is your family except yourself. You have to be careful about every step that you take. As the lady was narrating the story to me, she passed away in my arms as I was sitting and listening to her drafting the story. Do you want to know who I am? I am the writer of the story, narrating another lady's painful story to you. I would not like to let the readers know her identity as I have developed a deep bonding with her during the days she lived with me. I'm unsure how to end the story either. Sometimes I wonder, were Maya and Saumya and the narrator of the story one person? Were they one person? I'm not sure of that either. Would you like to know who the narrator is? I found her in the middle of the road. She looked in pain, not knowing where to begin or where to end. Lost in her own world, I found a new story for my book that I have been planning to write for a long time. I did not want to introduce her or begin the book with her story, but we together wanted Maya, Saumya, and the narrator's voice to be heard by the world. Her dream was to unite the world through her real life experience, the world that she called her family. When she was in the middle of the road, she did not need a family. She just wanted her world family to be careful and cautious, not just for herself, but for the people around her whom she cared so much about. I got her home. She's been living with me for so long, suffering from an ailment that I do not want to reveal either. Saumya's story, though deeply entwined with Maya's, remains largely untold, not because it lacks pain, strength, or significance, but because she chose silence. The narrator, respecting the choice, has only shared what Saumya allowed me to be seen. Some stories live not in loud declaration, but in the quiet courage of staying behind the curtains. Her life, rich with resilience and quiet rebellion, will find a fuller voice in another manuscript titled Spark That Became a Fire. Her journey is not one of fairy tales or flawless victories. It's a testament to start over, failing forward, and daring to dream despite constant setbacks. From a homemaker confined within domestic walls to a woman stepping into the world of career ambitions, she carried silent burdens of a painful marriage, unmet expectations, and societal pressures. Even when her career dreams met failures time and again, her spirit never truly gave up. What makes Saumya's story remarkable is not triumph in the traditional sense, but the courage to keep seeking light amid recurring darkness. The quiet perseverance deserves a narrative of its own, and so the fire that sparked within her will be told in a new manuscript, Spark That Became a Fire. It's her voice, her truth, and her resilience that will illuminate a different kind of beauty, one born not of applause but of endurance. I believe Maya, Saumya, and the narrator were one person because when I found her, she was all alone. If they were truly her best friends, she wouldn't have been alone when I found her. I have the narrator's ashes in my hands and I decide to pour them into holy water because something so pure deserves to return to something sacred. She was a writer like me who struggled to find her voice in the noise. Maybe in death, her story will finally be heard through me. I do not know if I have done justice to the story by ending it so abruptly without going into the depths of each character. It's for readers to see who the real beauty and the real beast are in this book. I believe storytelling is an art where you have to live your character's life, and I have seen and heard the story. If you ask me, am I wearing a mask myself in the form of the narrator of the story? Is this my story? I just have one answer for my readers. On a lighter note, yes, it's my story because I have written it, not because I am the characters of the story. I'm still on my journey of being a good story writer as I'm amateur. I who doesn't know how to write or tell a story, but is always trying to write a book that will help me gain recognition as a writer. I'm waiting for that day. I do not want to end this chapter this way, but I would like to end this chapter from where we started, chapter 1. Maya always dreamt of that life. I do not know where she is, but if you peep into every lady's life, you will see Maya, Saumya, and the narrator. If you find her somewhere in the middle of the road standing helplessly, then maybe it's a journey that she has taken from chapter 2 to chapter 16. Every lady does not aspire to be chapter 1. There are women who have vision of building a solid career for themselves. I have a message for such women. Be careful of choosing the right path to be successful and don't get trapped in cyber frauds or in the hands of a fraudster. Be careful about your next move, because life is a beautiful journey that's a combination of beauty and the beast in you and others. It's the beauty in you that can identify the beastly nature of a human and bring out the best from him or her in their life. Do you have the power in you to destroy the beast in you and others? Everyone has, but we are self centered. So, here I'm dedicating this book to Mr. Beast in every human so that they destroy that beast and bring out the beauty which is hidden deep inside of them. Life is beautiful. Live it, cherish it, and enjoy it. All alone if you like, but never feel lonely, because you're not alone in your journey. There are many like you. Life is not a fairy tale either, and it's for real. So live with reality and with your eyes wide open and be cautious. I would like to end this chapter with just one more line. Character and character building are important part of storytelling, but the true gem of every story is its message. So my dear readers, I invite you to reflect and have you found the hidden gem of the story? So there ends this manuscript. I hope you like the story, and if you did, then please do let me know by writing what you felt about the story in the comments section. That's all for the day. Thanks for watching and thanks for your time.